From October 16th through 18th, 1859, Harper's Ferry raid took place. And before you ask, no, it was not an actual ferry. Led by John Brown, a strong abolitionist with religious backings to his beliefs, it was also known as John Brown's Raid, in which he planned to slowly remove slavery from the United States.
So, the plan. Step 1, rent the Kennedy farmhouse. The Kennedy farmhouse was a cabin about 4 miles north of Harper's Ferry with a small group of men that had military experience, 18 besides himself. He also tried to recruit Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, but unfortunately, they couldn't make it that day. So, onwards to step 2, which was raid the arsenal. John Brown wanted to take weapons from the arsenal in Harper's Ferry, and he was going to distribute them to his men and other slaves. Step 3, travel through the Appalachian Mountains, where he was going to free slaves like a knight in shining armor. Step 4, he was going to distribute his weapons to these slaves, where they would all rebel, and of course, finally, take down the entire slave system. But this couldn't happen quickly. It had to happen slowly. Now, in the grand scheme of things, really, he got to step 2, because after he raided the arsenal, people started knowing something was missing. What happened?
Here's what really went down. On October 16th, 1859, John Brown and his group of men went into Harper's Ferry, one group detaching from the rest to take hostages, and another 4 men staying behind to keep watch. They cut the telegraph wire in order to cut off all communications and even took over a passing train. Through this, Brown's men were able to take the armory, even though Brown was sad about not getting more slaves to join in the movement. On October 17th, 1859, Army workers realized the armory had been taken over. As the previous day communications were shut off, the Army workers and townspeople surrounded the armory, cutting off any route of escape. After having a small bit of gunfire between the two forces, Brown sent out his son to surrender, who was mortally wounded in the process, and from here the raid was going rapidly downhill. On October 1859, the final day of the raid, it was stopped by First Lieutenant General Israel Green, who struck Brown to unconsciousness when he did not surrender in time. The other men involved in the raid were also taken prisoner, ending the issue.
So, in the long run, John Brown and his raid increased sectionalization drastically, and there was no chance for the North or the South to reconcile their differences at this point. This also increased the stakes for the election of 1860, and when Republican Abraham Lincoln won, 7 southern states led by South Carolina seceded in December 1860. And then, well, the rest is history. The Civil War.